What is up, fans of Grapplers Talk? This is Dave coming at you with another episode each and every week. Thank you to all the fans for downloading, tuning in, and listening to the podcast. It truly is amazing. All the feedback I get tons of love and support from the jiu-jitsu community, and I just love hearing all the great feedback. Before we get too far into this episode, I just first got to say thank you to our partners out there, Spar Bar Soap, providing us with the best anti-fungal soap out there. We're using them. We're doing great. If you go to the website, Spar Bar Soap, type in code Grapplers Talk, you'll get 10% off your order. Again, if you're using antifungal soap and some of the natural stuff out there, you're paying a pretty penny for it. So go over to Spar Bar Soap, go support our friends over there. Also, thank you to our friends and homies over at Butterfly X. Man, we've been getting a lot of great feedback on the episode we just dropped with them in it, and truly one of our amazing partners out there. They're supplying us with the best rash guards on the planet, and I'm actually working with them to get our Academy rash guards printed. And I'm really excited, man, the future of Butterfly X and where they're going with it. And two guys just out there doing their thing. And we wish them all the best. Go to their website, type in code Grapplers Talk 10. You'll get 10% off your rash guards and kits over there. I'm actually wearing the shorts. I normally don't stand up, but I'm wearing some cool Butterfly X shorts. They're very, very comfy. So shout out to our friends over there. And I'm excited. I've been talking with this gentleman for a few, probably a little while now. He reached out and we got to know each other and went back and forth on Instagram a little bit. But I am thrilled to be joined today by none other than Donnie Ortego. Is that how we say it?
Yeah, you can call it
Ortego?
Ortego. Donnie
Orte-
Ortego.
okay, Ortego. But yeah, thank you, brother, for being a part of this episode of
Thank you.
Grapplers Talk, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. That's I enjoy the show. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
I love the people that really listen to the podcast and download it, and when they get to be on the show, it's really awesome. I've had people on and they're like, I've never heard of your show, but I'll do it. And
Yeah.
it's really like, what? Like, come on.
Yeah, man, you guys do a great job. So
Yeah, man. Thank you for the support, dude. We really appreciate you. And I just wanted to get you on, man, and kind of get to know you a little bit better, but also talk about your story and really get to know who you are. And so I just first like to get started with, how did you get introduced into grappling or jujitsu? Who drug you in there? Like, what was the reason you started? Like, I started back in the day because I watched season one of The Ultimate Fighter was just dropping, and I was just, dude, I dove deep into, YouTube was just getting big. I started seeing some UFC fights on the local cable network, and dude, I just was like, I want to do this shit, man. I gotta find it. So I found it, and I just fell in love immediately. But everyone has a different reason for getting started, and I just want to get into, how did you get introduced into it?
I wrestled in high school. I would start off as a wrestler, and I traveled across the country. Just competing in wrestling. I did freestyle, Greco, folk style. So, uh, I I was born and raised in Louisiana, and so just had to get out and just travel. Across the travel to the Midwest and uh, different parts of the South in wrestling. So, and then I remember a friend of mine. He got me back into it because I took a little bit of a break. And so he got me into martial arts again, and we started off with Muay Thai, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then I went to a gym that wasn't too far from me, and then pretty much just I was just lifting weights, and I saw some of the guys who were fighters and grapplers. I was like, I should give this a try. And so I started doing jujitsu and just fell in love with it, man. And so yeah, that's like my very first start. Not many people know that part of my story,
Yeah.
and and it's kind of funny how I'm training a little bit. And so I told my dad, because I was wanting to move to California, And my dad told me, he's like, hey, why don't you come meet this guy? I know him from high school. He lives in California and he actually manages an MMA gym. I said, oh, okay. So I go to the wrestling practice. I meet the guy. So he's actually one of the managers at Ultimate Fitness.
Oh wow.
And so, yeah. And so, yeah, so we talked and he's like, hey, come train with me. Come train up in Sacramento. And so I was like, okay. So some time goes by. And that's when I got to meet Uriah, Master Tong. I met Fabio Prado, who eventually became my coach, and just loved it, man. Just loved the culture that Uriah built and just really liked it. And so I came back, and then a year later, I was living out there. So
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I like how they do things. So
Yeah.
uh, and plus, I was like, I got to get out of here. And so I just was like, yeah, I was really just drawn to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, California is, I mean, Sacramento especially, we got an hour away, you got the snow, an hour away, you got the beach. I mean, everything's within distance in Sacramento. You're such a centrally located area.
Yeah.
And but coming from the south, it's a little bit different in the south, you know. It's humid, it's hot, it's sticky. Louisiana's going through like a crazy hot spell right now too. So it's
Yeah.
wild out there, but you know, talk about let's back it up a little bit even and like what made you go into wrestling in high school over any other sport that was out there?
So pretty much I grew up playing baseball. Just that's the thing out here. Everybody either plays baseball, football, basketball. That's what you do. And so I was playing baseball. I started when I was 8 and, started getting serious more towards like 13 and 14. And when I got to high school, I saw these other guys, man, they were doing that since they were little bitty and they were really serious about it. So I was just like, man, I can't match up to these dudes. And so I was like, well, I got to find something else. And I'm like, I don't want to run track. It's boring. And so I actually have my uncle. He was a wrestler. My dad wrestled a little bit. And so they were like, hey, why don't you just try wrestling? And so I tried it and didn't do well, did horrible my first year and hated it, didn't want to go back. And so I had a teammate the next year. He actually convinced me to come back. And then I did. And I actually started doing a little bit better. And then my junior and senior year, that's when I just started doing pretty well, traveling, going to seminars and clinics. So
Yeah. It's
that's pretty much
different
the start.
once you start to like go to camps and seminars and all those extra things, like, and you're not just on the team, you know, whatever, like, that really is where you excel with your game. And that's where you really start to evolve as a grappler, right?
Right, exactly. And you get those different looks. And I would, in the off season, go train at one of the schools that has the Olympic Training Center, like or a USA Wrestling Training Center, and they would bring in guys like John Smith. My wrestling coach, Rob Herman, he actually coached Dan Henderson, Chael Sonnen. I think
Wow.
he coached Randy as well, and he would come in 3 times a week to come teach Greco. And those practices were probably the hardest practices that in the freestyle
Oh,
practice.
yeah.
You feel like when you get slammed, it's like you feel your intestines move and your nervous system kind of resets. You see, so,
Yeah.
but they were also fun at the same time. So,
Yeah, that's very cool. So, getting to California, getting introduced into a place like Ultimate Fitness, where you got world class athletes, world class coaching with Fabio Prado, with Uriah Faber, and all the different coaching guys that he has built there. I mean, that gym has literally evolved and gotten better and better, and they produced some pretty amazing champions with T.J. Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt and Uriah in his own right. You know, guys like Clay Guida eventually came there. But did you ever get the itch to like get into mixed martial arts, being around those guys so much?
yeah, actually, I did do a couple of MMA fights, and
Yeah.
it's funny. My first fight, I got to fight for Gilbert Melendez, and I got to fight in Vallejo at Six Flags.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like it felt like I was in a Tony Hawk game. You know how they had a little carnival, and so it was pretty cool fighting right by the water or on the water or whatever, and in an amusement park. I mean, so that was a
Yeah.
cool experience, and it was cool. But I really like grappling more. I had more longevity, more opportunities, uh, and so like I would just cross train over at Faber's because Fabio, once he left Sacramento, he went to Vacaville, and then that's where I was training a lot of the time. And
Yeah.
so, but I still would go cross train over at Faber's, and just do their wrestling and no-gi practices, the boxing, and Master Tong would come train with us sometimes. And so,
Yeah. Did you ever like foresee yourself like getting into competitive grappling and like really deep into that scene at that point in your career?
no, like, so I was just kind of living life and just training. And at the time, there really wasn't shows. I was a blue belt. Like the
Yeah.
shows, like Fight to Win, like was just kind of starting to come around. And I remember I went to like their eighth show and it was in San Francisco. So they were still like new. It was just tournaments like the IBJJF. I don't even know if BJJ Tour was around, but just like local stuff. And um, I think EBI might have started coming out too at that time. So everything was still kind of new. So grappling, professional grappler wasn't really a thing. It was like, we're just grappling, just competing. And
Yeah. That's just what we do, right?
yeah, it's just what we do. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So,
And so getting into it and obviously grappling starts to evolve over time and now we're in one of the craziest time periods of grappling in my opinion now with these walls that are going up and ramps and things like that in gyms and there's a lot of things changing in the grappling scene. Nowadays you can actually look towards a career path in grappling. Do you feel like that's something that you might want to work towards, and trying to become a professional grappler?
I mean, I've gotten paid to compete a few times, so I've already been there with Fight to Win, and when I got to compete in EBI. So, I mean, I've gotten money in it before, but it would be cool to get back on the competition scene and go do like the pit and
Yeah.
compete for some money. So it's definitely something I want to do. And it's like, hey, it feels good when you get paid to grapple. Like
Yeah,
it's not like,
absolutely.
even though it's not much, but it's like it's a cool way to earn some money. And you're like, there's opportunity there. You got to really hustle and go get it.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. But yeah, there is a lot more opportunity nowadays. I think back, I found some pictures the other day from 2007, a tournament I did, and I think, man, that tournament was like, it was crazy because we were there all day long, and it was a long, drawn out thing, and they've changed and they've gotten so much better over time to where now like you got an app on your phone and you're just getting updates with World League and different things like that. It's really evolving into something that we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's definitely evolving. And I actually like Jiu-Jitsu World League. I like how they update you, they tell you where you're gonna be, and they start
Yeah.
on time. And so when you see organizations coming up like that, I competed in AGF not too long ago, actually a little while ago. I liked how they got things set up, and they're on time, and just
Yeah.
the way that it's evolving and the structure of it. So it's definitely evolving, and there's different styles of competing, different
Yeah.
sets. So it makes it more interesting because if we had just one style, well, it would be kind of boring. And so I think it's good to have like your sub only, your EBI, your points. You have the pit now. So I think it gives us good different looks for being a grappler, you know?
Yeah. I got the worst ADD, and my wife will tell you about that. But I'm flying off in all kinds of different directions right now. But a couple things I want to talk about. Number one being the pit, and have you trained in that? And do you see that being the future of where like ADCC eventually goes, and now with the UFC involved and having something like that, and CJI and all the big major organizations are doing it, right? Maybe IBJJF and ADCC comes along. I don't know. Do you see that being the future?
I definitely see it being in the future. I don't see it leaving. Just because it's you can do a lot with that wall,
Yeah.
and you're not going to have those resets, like where if you're on an elevated platform, which I still like the elevated platform too, but I also like the pit. So I think it's definitely something for the future of the sport, and so I haven't tried the pit yet. I haven't really been training much, but I definitely want to try it. It just seems like it's fun. I see
Yeah.
all these videos on Instagram, and I said, man, dude, that looks just like a lot of fun, And
Oh, dude, they look like a blast. And what it does is it forces you into an offensive wrestling position, right? You can't
right.
back up and defensive wrestle for forever, right? Eventually you're going to hit that wall and okay, now now I got to move, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can, even if you're backing up, if they're coming forward and they're starting to walk forward, you can take their momentum and kind of like El Toro, like just like the bull, and throw them right into that wall. So
Yes, sir.
it
Yeah.
both ways. You can cut him off into that wall, or you can bait him in. Hey, come on, let's go, and then you can throw him into the wall and then turn it against them.
Well, and how much do you think we see guys like Andrew and William Tackett, and then they were early adopters of building a wall in their gym and putting one in there and being able to train with that wall and now Tackett's done BJJ UFC with the walls. He's done CJI with the walls. So it seems like that's like his thing. Like he's doing well with it. He knows how to use the wall. He's an experienced guy with the wall compared to some guys who have never done it, or maybe they're gi competitors or IBJJF competitors that really have never had a chance to.
Yeah, it's kind of like he has his own little compound. He's like, okay, this is how it's going to be played out. This is how we got to work, and they're training the way they're going to compete, and that's going to give them a big advantage over a guy who doesn't do it. And especially when you're doing it every day, and you can build strategies off of, okay, this is how we're going to approach the wall against this guy. There's so many things you can do. It's just like with MMA with the wall work, but just it's very different.
Yeah.
So guys are going to be having a lot more strategies with this approach to the pit and with the wall. So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to use it.
Yeah, the last thing we need is Rotolo brothers getting crazy and putting a wall in their house or putting a wall in Andre Galval's gym or whatever they're
Right.
doing, right? Those
Yeah,
kids are already so innovative. Like when they're rolling, like how do they think like that, right?
I just think it's the creativity. It's, I guess, that artistic side of them, and just all about growing the sport. Those guys they're innovators, and so they're always finding new ways, to
Yeah,
see how they can grow the sport and how they can get better. And so, but I
yeah.
like I like I like the wall though. I think it's great for the sport.
Yeah, I think that we're only seeing the beginning. And I was watching something the other day, just like, okay, this. I don't think it's going anywhere. Like you said, like this is like the introduction to it. We were a part of the early days, and now we just got to accept that there's going to be a lot of tournaments with walls.
Yeah. So I think a lot of gyms now, it's like, all right, have a section where it's just the wall, and
Yeah,
I think it's good though, man. And so, like I said, it just makes everybody like step it up now. It's like, all right, we want to make this sport grow. Let's step it up. So,
yeah, yeah. What now with UFC being involved in jiu-jitsu? Obviously, I feel like it's a win-win for everybody, and having them a part of it just kind of makes everyone step the bar up. Yeah, Craig Jones may be pissed off, but it seems like the bar has been set to a certain standard now, and
yeah. Yeah, definitely. But you know what? Craig got it from Karate Combat, and
yeah,
so he can't really be too mad. It should take it as a compliment. That's what I would say. Like, it's like, hey, we're gonna use your idea, and uh, it's definitely, it puts more eyes on the sport, and it's just gonna only grow from here on out. So I think it's great marketing for the sport. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that I agree. It's definitely good eyes for it. The UFC can attract some big sponsors behind it, and I know they got like Hayabusa or whatever, and they got a couple of them out there. But eventually, I see big brands wanting to get involved with the jiu-jitsu game with the UFC being there, right?
yeah, I can see that. It's just like with you look at skateboarding, look at like Nike and Adidas, they all came in, and because those sports got bigger. And now you look at jiu-jitsu, man, it's just taken off, and it's just a matter of time before they start making their own rash guards and shorts and starting to try to come in. So it's just
Yeah.
a matter of time, in my opinion.
I think of it like this, right? If you look back and watch season one of The Ultimate Fighter, even season two, look at the mat like in the octagon, right? And it's completely blank.
Hmm.
They got maybe one sponsor, maybe but I think it was completely blank, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. And you look at that UFC BJJ mat, and it's pretty blank, right?
Right.
And that's where we're at with jujitsu right now. We're in about 2005 in the jujitsu scene, and we got blank, octagon in there. It's only a matter of time before that octagon's full of, Bud Light sponsors and big time, attraction.
Oh, for sure. It's just waiting for the space to be filled, and so watch, you're gonna probably see a Monster Energy logo on there. You're gonna see, like you said, a Bud Light or whatever, Modelo or something. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we got CJI coming up. That's exciting. They're doing a different style of tournament this time. Not your typical bracket like they did last time. I believe they got like a quintet going, right?
Yeah, they got like a quintet style where it's like against teams, which I like. I think that's cool because they're not doing the same thing. They're like, hey, we can still, this is brand new, but we can still give you something different. And so as a viewer, I'm like, cool. And so it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for CJI.
So that leads me to my next point, which with the quintet, you see a lot of those popping up nowadays, right? And I actually went to a local tournament and they did one, which I thought it went amazing. Now, where do we stand with that? Is that something that we're gonna have to be adopting into jujitsu, a team aspect of grappling or of jujitsu?
I mean, probably, it's like, it's like, the sport's just going to keep growing and we're finding ways to uh, make it grow. And I think it's good to have more options, and also too, if there's guys who've never been on a team before, and this is an opportunity for them to know what it's like to be in a team dynamic, or if guys who always love being on a team, here's an opportunity for them to be back in a team dynamic, even though you're still out there by yourself, you got to do your thing, but you have people behind you. And so I think it's cool, man, that we got the quintet style and then you have the individual style. So
Yeah,
it's just like with swimming, how they have the team and then
yeah,
the individual. So I just see it just being beneficial for the sport.
yeah. It's kind of I thought it was entertaining. I'm an old school like WWE fan too, so it kind of had those vibes to me. But it's something I feel like the I don't know necessarily how everyone does their quintet rule set or
Yeah.
how everyone works that, but I'm sure there can be some improvements made to the rule set along the way. We figure out the bumps and the bruises, and we get to the bottom of having a real ironed out rule set for a quintet.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot of trial and error because there's gonna be things that they're gonna keep, and there's gonna be some things like, hey, we can take this out and add this in. So
Yeah,
I think it's just gonna be a trial and error thing as you go, and and so I think it's just gonna evolve. But they got to start somewhere. And one thing I really like about CJI, you can tell that it just has this own personality, and it's
yeah,
you know especially last year with Craig, he just lets the personality shine. So you kind of see like you don't want the sport to be, everyone's the same and it's a uniform, and it's let everyone shine, let them help promote the sport in their own way with their own personality and brand. And so personality makes the sport.
yeah. I was just talking to someone about that the other day. Is like we gotta have the personalities involved for jujitsu to get to that next level. Like we need the Conor McGregor type personalities to really boost the sport. Like, if it's rivalry boosts the sport, right? Ken Shamrock, Tito Ortiz really boost the fuck out of the UFC. So there's a lot of different things that we need, and having Galval and Gordon and Nicky Ryan or Nicky Rod and Gordon and all these different things, right? All these different rivalries and Craig involved, like that's gonna boost the sport. And that's what it's about at this point, like getting that mainstream exposure, getting people talking about it. Like That's what it was, is like when Connor threw that dolly through the window, like the people that didn't even watch fighting knew about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate to say it, but sometimes controversy sells. So it's
Sometimes, all the time, brother.
yeah, that's right, all the time. Yeah.
There's a reason those UFC embedded cameras were in the back, and they had them rolling, and they eventually used that footage and embedded and several different things.
Yeah, they make a script. They're writing the script out. So they're
Yeah.
telling their story for those fighters.
Yeah. I have another interesting topic to talk to you about,
Mhm.
and that's gi jiu-jitsu. We see that, like, UFC and all these things popping up with no gi stuff. Where do you think we stand with gi jiu-jitsu, and how do we make that become more mainstream? Do you think we need to adapt different rule sets or different ideas, or is it just the factor of you have to be a high level thinker and understand jiu-jitsu to understand the gi game?
Well, I did see something that Mo posted where he might want to do an 80cc gi. And so that would be cool. I think it's just going to help. That's going to help gi. And, I definitely think there needs to be some evolution. And I train in the gi a lot more than no gi. I train in both, love both. Uh, I can't just do one thing all the time. So,
Right.
I definitely think there needs to be like some evolution, but still kind of staying original at the same time. So, uh, I definitely think we kind of need to take a little bit of what's going on with no gi and try to find a way to make that fit for gi.
Yeah. What do you think that is, though? Like, what
Hmm.
is that factor that we need to take?
That's a good question. That's
Like, I mean, no gi's a faster game. Like, gi's a little bit slower. There's more setups, and obviously you're getting tangled and tied up in that gi all the time.
yeah. I definitely I guess making sure guys aren't like stalling out if they have to like put the gis back together that they wouldn't take too long. We got to make it more spectator friendly. You
Fan
know,
friendly, right?
especially towards someone who doesn't train. Like for guys like us, we train, we know it's like, and even then we're kind of like, hey, hurry it up. You don't want to just, and you don't want guys just holding on, and just sitting there and just being, just waiting, and hoping for the best. So, uh, yeah, it's a good question, and it is slower pace, but I still think there is a way for Guy to get to that kind of mainstream. And Giancarlo was talking about that. He said that he believes that there is a way. They just have to take some note and find it.
Yeah. I
So
think it's simple, man. Like, we adopt a different rule set to where we're calling stalling penalties. Like, for example, the Michael Pixley Nicky Rodriguez match in UFC Fight Pass. I mean, there was some stalling and several stalling calls like within 2 minutes of it.
yeah,
So that may be the way to really like improve it. Like, disqualify the guy. He gets three stalling penalties. You disqualify him. He's
yeah,
gonna definitely change his game at some point if he gets a few DQs for it.
yeah. It'll definitely give people a more incentive to be more active. And especially if there's money on the line, if they're doing this professionally, they're going to be a lot more active. I mean, you look at Pride, dude; they get the yellow card, the red card, and I think the stalling calls are great for the sport because I can't tell you how many times guys would just lay and pray or just getting 50-50 and just hold the guy there. And then it's so I think it's great. It gives guys more incentive. Like, okay, if I keep getting these, I'm gonna lose, get DQ'd. So
That's one thing about wrestling that I appreciate is they do call stalling penalties, and like it's not adopted enough in jiu-jitsu. It's very rarely seen in matches, I feel like, but I could be wrong on this, but I feel like if we adopted that a little bit more in the gi game, then maybe we could cause these guys to create a little bit more, or penalize for guard pulling, or I don't know what the exact thing is, but we can definitely do something to make it better and more watchable for the everyday fan, right?
yeah, exactly. And also too, like I don't know, some people would probably disagree with me and probably wouldn't want this, but I know like in freestyle and Greco, if you push the guy out, you got a point. And so it'll give maybe more incentive for the guys to stay in the center instead of just going out of bounds or running out of bounds, rolling out of bounds, give them more of an incentive to stay in the center, keep the action. You
Yeah.
know, uh, if it's not in the pit, if it's in like just a raised format, you
You
know.
know, it would be interesting if jujitsu adopted like unified rule sets, right? Like think of boxing or MMA, right? Early days, there were rule sets where you could knee, where you couldn't knee, where you could, elbows to the face, no elbows to the face. And then eventually everyone just adopted the unified ones.
Yeah,
So like if we had a board with like Hickson Gracie with all these top level minds in the game, John Danaher and Henzo and all Gordon, and Andre Gaval and they agreed upon a unified rule set for jiu-jitsu, how beneficial do you think that would be for the sport?
I think it would be great. Just we all can agree on something. But
Yeah.
also too, like I said earlier, it's kind of cool having different rule sets too. Kind of
Yeah.
keeps it also it'll make you like when you have different rule sets, it makes you adapt and makes you adjust your game a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because I think that under certain rule sets, some people have a better style for it.
Yeah.
And that's completely okay, right?
Yeah.
It should be. I speaking of universal and agreeing upon stuff, okay? I'm gonna segue like this, right? There's the greatest jujitsu competitor of all time is Hickson Gracie in my mind, right?
Mhm.
And he was awarded the red belt by like 150 different black belts. They came, family members, and they awarded him the red belt, which is like the eighth or ninth degree in jujitsu, right? And held for sacred areas and for family members and people that really did a lot for jujitsu. Now, Hickson doesn't really wear the red belt. He still wears his coral belt a lot of times, and one of the things that he talked about in an article, and I'm setting this up a long way, but one of the things he talked about is he wanted a certain time frame and a certain standard set aside for certain things with jujitsu, and especially once you get to those higher levels, there needed to be certain standards involved in that. And he felt that he wasn't up to the certain standard of the red belt, so that's why, according to interviews that I've seen and articles I've read, why he still wears the coral belt. Now, there's a lot of upset people out there on the internet, okay, and people that have trained their whole entire lives, right? People that have trained 10 plus years, 15 plus years, 20 plus years, and then to see a guy go out there and get a black belt in 3.5 years. Okay, the internet is fuming. Okay, the only people on the internet that aren't fuming are all the different people that he trained with and did private lessons, and it's very controversial right now. If you've dedicated, your heart and soul. I mean, for me, it took me 20 years to get to black belt. It was just shy of 20 years, and that's with injuries, that's with life, that's with adolescence. All the different things involved in that. What's your take on the 3.5 year black belt?
Oh man, I think that guy's a scammer. That's just 3.5 years of private lessons, dude. Come on, get real.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
That yeah, it's just and he's actually doing something similar with Kempo karate. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
saw he's got like a green belt in Kempo.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, man. And then the I mean, here's where I think the guy's trolling everybody. Okay, that's my opinion. He's trolling. He's got probably more viewers now than he ever has. Not only does he like the attention, but like he totally did not tie that belt correctly the next day or the week later and posted a picture of it tied completely incorrectly, and everybody freaking lost it.
Talk
Okay.
about rage bait, dude.
Dude, like I've seen so many videos of people losing their minds about the belt tie, like on that. Like What is going on in jiu-jitsu, and do you think it's a bad look for somebody to get a black belt that easily? And easily, yeah, 3.5 years, it's pretty quick, man. Like, we're talking the best in the world. BJ Penn had to go out there and win world championships to get his in that kind of time frame. Kyle Terrace, same thing. He had to go out there and win multiple world championships to get that belt within that time frame.
Yeah, it's not a good look, because it's kind of an insult to everyone who's earned their black belt that's taken at least a decade.
Right.
It's just I just it's like, don't water this down. Keep it authentic. And yeah, everyone's fuming and raging. And so yeah,
Yeah.
he's probably eating all the attention up. So
Yeah, I've seen so many people challenge him to matches or post cutouts or whatever of their face next to him in like a stare down, and I'm like, man, everyone wants to hurt this guy. Like, what happened to our love and respect and all that in jujitsu?
yeah, it's I don't know, when you get the community riled up and insult us, yeah, we're gonna tell you how we really feel about it. And
Yeah.
it's funny, some of the comments you see. Like, one guy, he goes, "Look, I'm about your age, 4 stripe white belt. Let's go." Yeah. So it's just, some of the call outs are hilarious when you see all that. So yeah, I just don't. It's like, come on, man. It's don't water this down.
it
So
it definitely doesn't look good for the sport, and I kind of blame jujitsu because there isn't a standard, right? Like, I mean, to in our minds, and the guys that have been around for a while and the girls that have been around for a while that have trained, and there is a standard, but there's not really. Like, there's not like a book out there that says you need to be learning this and that. So, I mean, unfortunately, it opens it up for people like that. And I thought we were good because we have all these celebrities and they're making them earn their stripes. And, we got Mario Lopez, who's barely a purple belt, right? And he's got wrestling experience. He's, very athletic, and, all these different celebrities, right? John Wick, he's a jujitsu star, right?
yeah, you got Ashton Kutcher, Ed O'Neill.
Right. But they have earned every bit of it, right? Ed O'Neill, it took him over 10 years, right? Of private lessons with the Machado brothers. So, like, that's a big difference, right? Like, is that where we're at in jujitsu right now? That we're gonna become a McDojo eventually, to where we're on every corner, everyone's a black belt, and that's it?
I hope not. I hope not. It's you just you hear stories of people who are like, they check in. Oh, they showed up this amount of times. It's like, okay, time for your promotion. It's like, man, look, for me personally, look, my coach, I think there's only like maybe 12 black belts under my coach.
Yeah.
And he's been teaching for a long time. And like, you have to earn that stuff, dude, because you're representing your coach's name, your academy, and the last thing you want is to be called a fake black belt or a fake
Right.
whatever belt, and so it's it's really about your skills, man, all the time you put on that mat, and I hope the sport's not going that road.
Yeah.
you know
It's definitely a skill-based martial art, right? It's not a time-based martial art. You can't go for 6 classes and mark them down, and next thing you know, you get a belt. Like, it should be at least the standard that I hold, right? In my martial arts aspect, is it's a skill-based. You
yeah,
have to know how to defend yourself at that skill level, or else you're really setting yourself up for, failure at some point, right?
right, yeah, exactly. And also too, man, like, the higher that rank, man, people are gunning for you, dude. They're like, hey, let's see what this guy's got.
Yeah. If you've traveled around and you're a higher belt, like, dude, I've walked into academies at brown belt, and, dude, like 5, 10 guys are looking at me like they're going to rip my head off. Like, I don't even know you guys, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's just how it is. It's like, you're on not enemy territory, but you're on a different turf. So,
Yeah.
and that's why it's important to back your skills, man. You know, the belt is just 2 inches that covers your waist. The rest you got
Right.
to protect.
Yes, that's great. Great. Helio Gracie said that, I believe.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I'm sad that we're talking about this even, but hopefully we can correct this. And do you think that people should be allowed to hold some sort of rank like that in a private lesson only setting?
No, no, I don't think they should have hold a in a private lesson like Derek
Because
Moneyburg.
I think if you only train privately and you never test your skill level against anybody but your private instructor who you're paying, to me, like, I don't think you should even carry a rank. But
Yeah,
like, I
I
mean,
agree.
who am I?
You don't really know yourself. You don't
Yeah.
know what you don't really know who you are. You don't know how you're going under that pressure. You don't know what it's like being in those really tough spots where you're like, I got to get out of here. And that's important. That's what builds you. That's what molds you is those that fire. And it's good to go up against people just a little bit better than you and then people on your level. And then obviously people better than you, but you also still want to have people on your level and then people who aren't as good as you. So then you can start to explore jujitsu and kind of open those different doors of how things work.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a seminar with Hoyler Gracie one time, and that's something he brought up that I really held on to. And like, yeah, sometimes when you're training for a match, you gotta train with somebody that's less skilled than you, so you can really like put together the certain moves or certain game that you're looking to play and actually be able to pull it off with confidence, right? It's a
Right?
confidence builder, but it also allows you to pull these high level moves off without getting stopped every single time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he encouraged that, especially training for competition, which I thought was very interesting. And there's a lot of different ways to do it, and I think that it's important that you're ready for battle no matter what, right?
You got to get tested, man. That dude hasn't been tested. Come on.
Yeah, I don't get it. I at first when the first post came out, I was like, okay, he posted a picture with like a list of black belts, right? We're talking Frank Mir, we're talking Glover, we're talking Leota Machida, we're talking Jake Shields, right? So it could have been any one of those guys that gave it to him, and then it was Jake. And so I mean, like the whole internet just lost it, and then Jake came out and said something and defended him, and I mean, it's right now. I don't know where the jiu-jitsu community stands with Jake Shields, but I know a lot of guys in the community have endorsed this guy, and
Yeah, and it's just kind of like when people do stuff like that, it's kind of like, well, it also with your brand and what you're about in your style of jiu-jitsu, it kind of makes it look like it's how can I say it? Like it's like almost like it's not even earned,
yeah,
And in a sense, I don't even know if that's the right way I can put it, but it's kind of like, oh, it's not that hard to go get a belt from this person or that person because now the standard was just set the standard a little bit lower. Actually,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, everybody's just kind of like losing it right now over that.
Yeah. The other thing people are losing their minds about too, this news just dropped this week, is Craig Jones has exited the B team. Now Craig Jones is a very interesting character. I love his satire, his comedy, everything that he does. I think he's putting amazing eyes on the sport, and part of the reason why it's growing to where it's at now. But do you think he can be somewhat of a distraction to a team, and a team that's trying to build a business with him traveling all around the place and putting these crazy controversial videos out there? It kind of it puts a weird dynamic into your gym, as a gym owner, right?
Yeah, it's definitely it can even though it's like look, press is press, good or bad at the end of the day, but it can be a distraction. And so I mean, Craig's done an amazing job, dude. And his personality's hilarious. Like
Yeah.
but yeah, and it's also like when you have a team it's just you're trying to get things done as a team, and you kind of have all this other stuff going on. It's like, remember, you got to focus. Money's on, we're trying to compete for money. We're trying to compete, and our brands are on the line, and so it's, yeah, I mean, you have all that stuff going on. It's gonna be a lot harder to focus over here, especially when your gym, like the whole world has their eyes on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of focus on the B team right now, and especially with Craig leaving, there is even more focus on them and kind of where everything stands. I know Gordon's come out and said a few different things, and they've kind of gone back and forth. And I want to know this. I know the UFC. I heard a couple things that they may be in talks with Gordon and Nikki Rod over coaching a season of UFC BJJ. If that, like, first of all, do you even see that happening? And second of all, if it does happen, that means Gordon may be coming back. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think so, because you got two rivals, the rivalry. And so, and there's history there too. They were on the same team. The UFC can market it that way. Like, oh, they used to be teammates, then they were competitors. Now they're just, here's an opportunity for them to go head to head as coaches and then eventually, compete again. So that would be cool to,
Yeah.
to see that. It definitely will give more spark. And especially the beef is real too, man. They don't like each other. And
Yeah.
so when it's real, like, it sells, like real
Yeah.
sells. And so that would be cool that those two go head to head and you know scrap it out. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see if the UFC, if anybody can make it happen. I feel like it's the UFC, right? The UFC's got the best negotiators. It sounds like John Jones is coming back because they're fighting at the White House, and a lot of things going on, man. Everyone thinks he's out and he's not coming back, and then all of a sudden Dana White throws the curveball in, and everyone's trying to fight at the White House. It seems like.
yeah, it's definitely a good way to it's kind of like, oh, he, like with John, it's like, oh, okay, or they're gonna fight, and then it's like, oh, I'm retired, like, oh, okay, and then it definitely makes people get their attention again, you know.
Yeah.
But those White House fights would be pretty cool to see.
Hey, I will say that's history right there. That's
Yeah.
crazy history. And we'll look back and be like, what in the hell happened? But it's wild to really think about. But if the UFC can pull off a fight at the Sphere, a fight at the White House, and opening up a boxing and jiu-jitsu organization all within like this short time span that they've done, like there's no stopping them from anything, right?
Oh, dude, it's just gonna just keep blowing up, man. It's just gonna
Yeah.
keep getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
So
Where do you see your career going? Do you have any matches that you want to get down the road or anything like that in the future?
yeah, I want to get back competing, and because I went out to Santa Barbara and I got to go compete. My homie Bill Cooper brought me out there, and I was just doing a couple of seminars. Like, hey, dude, why don't you go compete? And it was actually my black belt debut. And
Yeah.
so, and I didn't do that. Didn't compete for like almost 3 years. That last competition was Arte Suave 2 when they
Yeah.
started. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go. And so I went and competed, picked up right where I left off, man. Just the mental approach.
Right.
That's enough. I wound up winning no, both my Nogi, the division and the open. And just my approach to competition, it's that, how Dominic Cruz says there's no such thing as ring rust.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as mat rust. It's all mental.
Yeah.
I just make sure that I don't let the tournament and the environment psych me out. It's like making a cup of coffee for me. And so I'm just like, I know where the mats are going to be. I know what it's like to, when I see my opponent, how I'm warming up. I know what everything's going to be like. And I know what it's like in a step on that mat. And then once it's go time, it's just autopilot, just go. And so I definitely want to get back competing. I want to do some ADCC tournaments. I haven't done that yet. And especially coming from a wrestling background and freestyle and Greco. So I'm like, I've been itching to get back in doing that. And so I want to do more gi tournaments, because I have because I only did one tournament in the gi, and so haven't really competed much in the gi, and so I want to do that more, and I just test myself, see where I stand with it, and
Yeah.
uh, so I actually have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people talking about, oh, pulling guard and butt scooting, which I agree. I've gone up against guys in competitions who would slap hands, bump fists, and drop to their butt.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And so here's my take on that. Like, because I've also seen guys where they're like, oh, wrestle, wrestle, where they're playing patty cake and there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
So here's how I see it. Like, it's what you do with it. And it's like, okay, if you can pull guard and you can slap a triangle within 20 seconds, I mean, I guess, okay, cool. You utilized something that, that was better than seeing two guys play patty cake.
Right, right. I have an interesting idea. Okay, so I think the same thing could be done with the stand up with the stalling, right? If you got two guys that can't take each other down that are just playing mercy grips the whole time or some stupid shit like that, then you call them for a stalling penalty and you start them on the ground. That's my thought behind that. But yes, I also agree with what you're saying. With the fact of it does matter what you do with it. Mikey Musameshi, he can do that and be inverted and have your back within seconds, right? But
Right.
then some guys will do it and sit there the whole round and do this like guard prevention thing, like where they won't let anybody pass and they just stay in this like preventative measure, right? And that gets annoying. It gets like okay, like I don't want to see somebody just trying to pass the whole time. Like let's keep the action, keep the pace going, right?
Yeah, because I've just seen like on social media how some people are like against guard pulling and all that stuff. And rightfully so, when you're seeing like just that guard, they pull guard and guard retention, and they don't let you pass. And it's just, yeah, I'm against that. But if you
Yeah.
can pull guard and slap a triangle and arm bar, or you can sweep them and then go start working from there, I'd say go for it, whatever works. And just keep the fans entertained too.
Yeah.
Don't bore us where we're like, oh, let's go to a concession stand,
Yeah. The
So
the other interesting thing too, I think, is if you do take like a guard pulling approach and you sit there on the ground and it's a very boring match, nobody passes, you're just stalling to prevent him from passing the whole time. I think the person on the bottom loses.
yeah,
Right? Like I don't think that they should have won because they maybe have attacked something for a half a second or anything like that. I think they were on the bottom, their life was threatened in my opinion, they lose.
yeah, just because they engaged first, it's like,
Right.
okay, what did you do? I can't
Yeah.
see how many times I would see a guy who pull a guard or go into 50-50 and just hold them, and then when they get the advantage, and then they just pound in their chest like they did something. And
Yeah.
I remember one time, dude, it was at Copa Poggio out in when it was in Vacaville, and I helped set up that event. And this one guy was in the gi, and he was just held in 50-50 the whole time. And so I'm like, I started yelling in Portuguese, like boring fight, boring fight. So I don't want to see that kind of stuff, man. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Like, we definitely got to fix it, and we can do a lot. I think we're just like so stuck in the gi game of like, hey, we got to play by these certain rules. Like, let's get innovative with it. Let's come up with the new rule set in the gi. I love the Arte Suave organization. I can't say enough good things about my friends over there, but the Arte Suave organization does like all submissions legal in the gi and it's submission only like and brown and black belt like dude you got heel hooks, you got whatever you want, bro. Like you're a brown or black belt, you should know what you're doing at that point.
yeah,
And so I like those types of rule sets that are coming out. I wish we would see a little bit more different gi style rule sets, like a quintet in the gi. That's interesting, right? Like
okay.
yeah, we got to mix it up. So, man, it's been awesome talking to you. And I just always like to give our guests just a few minutes to kind of shout anybody out and, kind of give any love to any sponsors they may have. But first of all, thank you for taking the time to be a part of this. And truly, it's been awesome getting to talk to you about some of these fun different topics and getting to know you a little bit more. And, you've always been a big supporter of the show, and we just appreciate you. But go ahead, take a couple minutes. The floor is yours.
All right, yeah, yeah. Thank you again for having me on, and so yeah, just want to give a shout out to my mom, my dad, my family. Just supporting me all these years because leaving, living 2,000 miles away from them and only seeing them a little bit of time. So just all their support, and then I got a few places I gotta give all my homies up in NorCal a shout out. Give my boys AJ, JB, Mark, Hector, Mike, Logan, my boy George, the Point Arena crew, Team Alpha Point Arena, and those are my homies right there. And then I got my boys in the 805. Bill the Grill Cooper,
Yeah, Bill the Grill's a good guy, man. I really like that guy.
dude. He's awesome, man. And so I'm trying to go back out there and go do some seminars and hang out with him. And his son Dorian Cooper, the underground training facility, Diego and Flea. Give a shout out to my homies up in the 209. I'll be back out, try to be back out there soon. And then also to my friend Chance Bro. He helped me with my leg lock game a lot, and thankful for him. Gave me an opportunity out here to share my style with some of the guys here, and then my buddy Steve. So, um, and just shout out to my coach Fabio Prado and Uriah Faber, just being a part of their culture and just what they built, and just for me to be a part of that and to establish myself as a grappler under their style and teaching. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's truly been an honor getting to know you. Thank you again for being a part of this episode. Fans, don't forget to tune in each and every week. Like us on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you could watch video episodes of the podcast. We're growing. We're going to put out some more content. Be looking for us at the Arte Suave event August 8th or 9th, I believe, in Stockton. We're going to be doing some interviews out there, hanging out with the Arte Suave crew. But come say what's up to us. Ask me for a sample of Spar Bar soap. And once again, thank you to our sponsor, Spar Bar Soap. Go type in Grapplers Talk for 10% off. And then also thank you to Butterfly X. Type in code word Grapplers Talk 10 for 10% off over there. And check out all their new lines of rash guards, their patriotic gear that just dropped. They've been doing some remodeling on their website, so they have some good stuff out there, but check it out. You have anything else you want to add, Donnie?
Yeah, real quick, because I'm going to be doing a seminar up in Santa Barbara in 805. And, if anyone wants to do a private lesson, seminar, hit me up on my Instagram, Donnie_jiu-jitsu. And if anybody's interested, or group lessons too.
Yeah. When's that seminar?
I don't have any set dates, but I'm looking at September for Santa Barbara, and so I'm actually gonna plan on being in NorCal for about a month.
Okay.
So, because I just want to go hang out with my people, and
Yeah.
dude, I got mad love for NorCal, man. It's my second home, and miss it a lot. Love the culture there, and the fight culture. There's none like it, man. So.
Right. Right. Well, when you're in town, man, you'll have to stop by the Grapplers Talk studio in Stockton and come say what's up to us.
Dude, definitely. I'll definitely let you know when I'm in town.
Yeah, for sure, man. But thank you for being a part of this episode. This has been another great episode. This is Dave, and we are out.